Hey guys, I'm back in the studio, and as you can probably tell, my hair is getting pretty long. That's because we can't go to the hairdresser. So I was wondering, should I just keep it long or should I cut it myself? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, we'll just try to make the best of it. We got some hair wax right here. There we go. Is this any good? Alright, first of all, a big thanks to Full Sail University for sponsoring this video. I'll talk more about them later, but until then, you can already check the first link in the description below to learn more. Now, I was watching The Life of Pi the other day, which is a cinematography masterpiece, so if you haven't seen it yet, definitely do. And one thing in specific that got my eye is the aspect ratio. There's a scene where they purposely changed the aspect ratio to tell a visual story. So being inspired by that, I brainstormed about other simple camera tricks that you can do to leverage your story or character emotion. And let's start with that aspect ratio. Adding black bars to the top and bottom gives the feeling that you have a wider view. Now, doing the opposite, cutting from the left and right, we narrow down the view and the audience feels that, which is something that we can use to tell a visual story. Say we've got a shooter who comes through the door, and as he looks around, he scans the area and has control over the situation because he holds the weapon. The cropping from the top and the bottom enlarges that view. The attacker sees everything and has all the space to walk in. Showing the victim, we can do the opposite and crop from the left and right. We're boxing the person in, we're trapping him. He has nowhere to go. We reflect his emotion and current state to the framing of the shot. Now, of course, you don't always need to work with different aspect ratios. You could also use foreground elements that function as such a crop. For instance, here we filmed through the door. The walls are the crop and give the same feeling to the audience.
Jill? What are you doing, Jill? Please, Jill, don't do it. Jill, please, don't do it. Jill!
So that's the first tip, play around with different aspect ratios. They're both in the edit or with foreground elements. Next up is an inspiration that I got from Money Heist or Casa de Papel, a series on Netflix. And there's a character in there who always puts her hair together whenever she's going to do serious work. When she goes back to a resting stage or going away from work, she unties her hair. It's kind of a tick which gives character to the talent and also tells the audience when things get real. It's kind of a ritual like football players have when they have to go on the field, or a serial killer who always drinks a glass of whiskey before he goes to his next victim. Or even something small like putting your cap backwards whenever the serious work begins.
Jordy?
Jill, the target is here. You can start.
All right, I got it.
Now, I've got 3 more very cool storytelling techniques, but first a little bit more about Full Sail's film bachelor's degree program that merges you into the world of filmmaking from every angle. They also offer a digital cinematography online degree program that merges the artistic concepts of traditional filmmaking with the technical tools used in everything from documentary filmmaking to commercial production and web video. Now, these degrees are offered in an accelerated format to get you into the field faster. With hands-on projects, industry experience, faculty, and professional equipment and sets, you'll be prepared to pursue your passion. Full Sail grads have gone on to work on some pretty incredible films and TV shows, like Game of Thrones, The Avengers Endgame, The Joker, and The Mandalorian, just to name a few. So if you want to find out more about these film programs and how to get started, you can click the first link in the description down below or go straight to fullsail.edu/Cinecom. And in the meantime, I've got 3 more storytelling techniques. Now, say that you have a character that is doing something focused, for example, scratching a lottery ticket. Now, when the talent finds out he won, an explosion of happiness will arise. Now, to give room for that explosion, we suddenly cut from a close-up to a long shot.
Woohoo! Yes!
It's like the framing of the camera also explodes, and like with the example, the explosion can also be an emotion, just as long as it suddenly happens. A very typical technique is also where someone dies in the arms of a character. The sudden explosion of grief can be visualized by cutting to a long shot. And of course, with an actual explosive, we can also do that. Here's a recent example that we did where we cut from a medium shot to an extreme long shot. Now this trick can also be used to fake suspension. Let's say that we have an actual explosive, and the moment that the timer hits 0, we cut to a long shot. So we're insinuating that an explosion will happen, which the audience will expect. But then nothing happens. In scary movies, this technique is also often used to insinuate a scary monster jumping on the character. But when the audience expects it, it doesn't happen. So the audience calms down after that insinuation, and then the monster strikes, acting as a bigger surprise.
Hello?
Hey, Jordy. Boom.
Cinematography trick number 4. There's a character in his home or at work, and a second character, the bad guy, who is about to break in and do harm. There are 2 ways that we could film this, which is going to give a different feeling to the audience. The first one, we stay with the main talent. The person hears something and he gets scared. He doesn't know where the bad guy is coming from, so he panics. We stay close with the camera, boxing the talent in. We're not showing the environment, only the panic emotion of the actor, which makes the audience feel scared and trapped as well. A second technique to film this is where we show the bad guy and the environment. This time the audience knows where the bad guy is, but the main character, who we have empathy for, doesn't, and this gives a more stressful feeling to the audience. I mean, we all know someone in our lives who start yelling at the TV during such a scene, giving instructions to the actor what he has to do. It's really annoying, actually. So Carl, if you're watching, please don't. A great example is the film A Quiet Place. Now, we can also turn this around and have a good guy hold hostage in his own house. The police comes, knocks on the door, and the good guy hears that, so he screams. But the bad guy tries everything possible to shut his mouth. So the police turns around and goes away. We have this irritating feeling as the audience, since the police is so close to saving the main character. Now, in the first episode of The Fall, which is on Netflix, there's a great example of this. And this brings me to the last one. Say your talent is angry. Does he have control over his anger or not? You can visualize that with the way you handle the camera. For instance, having a slanted or Dutch angle feels wrong, as if the camera is tipping over, and this reflects on the character. He's losing balance or control over himself. And this works great with anger, but can also be used with other emotions. And when a character really loses control, you can experiment with framings and angles that you normally don't do, like putting the camera sideways on the ground. Like it's thrown on the floor together with the other stuff that the actor is breaking. A very good example is a scene in The Great Gatsby where Leo loses control. The camera angle also slants a little bit as he does. And of course, you have the typical steady motion when the talent is not angry, and when he loses control, you cut to handheld motion. But we've covered that already on the channel before.
Stupid chair! You stupid chair! I freaking hate you! Stupid chair!
And those were my 5 visual storytelling tips. Now, I've given some great examples of films and series that you should watch, so while you're stuck at home, you could do that. Every Monday, Jill also gives a movie recommendation through the YouTube stories, which you can see through the YouTube app. Or you can also go and check out Full Sail University and get yourself a film degree while you're stuck at home. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Full Sail University, for the support. And as always, stay creative. I'm serious, guys. If you really want me to cut my hair, I'll do it. I'll do it myself live on camera next week. What about that? Really, let me know in the comments, because if you don't want me to do that, I won't. You know, we can go either way. Have like long hair Jordy or short hair Jordy. I prefer long hair. I don't want to cut my own hair. I really don't.